So, hello. This is a brand new experimental trash fire called The Real Stupid Review Show, as you can see there. And that is about as much effort as you can expect on this show.
But before we get started, can we censor Matt's weeb shit?
ほう、向かってくるのか。
Alright, Hell or High Water, go.
2016 film directed by David Mackenzie and written by Taylor Sheridan, Sheridn, writer of Sicario.
I'm gonna have to. Oh,
Yeah.
Can we talk about the cinematography and the shots and the framing? Like, I got one gripe with it, but besides that, I thought it was like beautifully done. Like the lighting, whoever color corrected that film, like
You didn't think they did a little bit too much of the we're in Texas and this is a
Breaking Bad
Western,
yellow.
so you get sepia.
at first, yes, but I changed my opinion on that later. My gripe with it though is a lot of wind scenes and the clouds aren't moving. Like still painting clouds, and like I was very aware of it.
Matt's gonna start his own like subsect of flat Earth with like clouds are fake now. I think.
Yeah,
I think
I-
this is where it's
Okay,
leading
well,
to.
it wasn't even the clouds, right?
I-
One of the car scenes, they did a wide helicopter shot coming in. It was a long straight road, and then if you actually watch the green screen in the background on the car, the dude's like curving like 90-degree turns all over the place.
I mean, overall, as far as like my summary of the movie, it's a modern Western. It's about Robin Banks. There's nothing like in watching the movie. There's nothing that happens that makes me dislike it. But the only points I really have against it are that it's a real good vanilla ice cream. It's the textbook of what this movie is, just made better than most, I would say.
So no, not that I disagree with you guys, but I am choosing not to elevate it for the same reason you guys are elevating it. It is like so one of my notes I have over here. It's like a Trump supporter recruitment video. It's like perfect for like, hey, this is who you are. You're in the Midwest. You're having a tough time. You know what? Go out and fucking make your own of it, like go join a militia. Like that's like that's like kind of the mentality of the people that we run across. Like even as much as I love Jeff Bridges' character, he's such a good character. There was only a few viewpoints where I really could get behind his point of view. Like
Oh, he's an
his
asshole.
whole- his-
He's a
Totally.
complete fucking asshole.
But I
Yeah,
love
no.
him.
Well, I'm lucky I got a half-breed by my side to avenge me. If you can stay sober long enough, knowing how you Indians like the bottle.
one of the jokes I have here is like at the beginning they're just burying cars and then unpacking a new car in a barn somewhere. They've got just
That shit-
cars
that
and
shit-
barns ready to go.
that is a like major like plot hole to me, was that they need $40,000, but they bury like 3 fucking cars.
They look like
Or I guess
beater,
2
like
cars,
beater cars,
and then they-
though.
He said he wasn't going to report that truck stolen until
Yeah.
Friday.
They had a whole
So
like
he-
scheme in place for
And
that.
it was for insurance fraud for sure.
Because I think that was them trying to patch that plot hole. It's like, okay, like you're gonna probably wonder where they got all these cars from. This is how they're doing it. They're reporting them stolen for insurance fraud, and then they're giving this guy the cash on the side, so he's making money off the car still. I liked the film at first, and then during the sort of the second act, middle lull, I started criticizing a lot, and then I got the gunfight I really wanted, and then I totally flipped around on that because I'm very easy to please, and like I loved the movie. I haven't seen like what I thought a genuinely good cowboy movie was in like such a long time. That's been like made in recent years, right? And maybe I haven't just been looking them out, but this was like a really solid cowboy film. Like made me feel like 1940s, 30s vibes of cowboy film.
Yeah, the script was written in such a way where this movie could have been made 30 years ago and would have held up to current day storytelling standards, but also would have totally gotten away with it 30 years ago.
Yeah, replace burying cars with burying horses, though. A little bit more gruesome in that aspect, I guess. But yeah, the film would translate to something older, just throwing Clint Eastwood in there.
Yeah.
Opposite of that too was the dialogue from the waitress when she was talking to the marshal about how he was like, "Let me get your tip." And she's like, "I need that $200. I got shit to do with that $200. Fuck you. You're not taking my tip." I loved that.
When she said
Yeah.
that's half my mortgage, I was like, how cheap is your house when $200 is half your mortgage?
I mean, you're in rural
Dude,
Texas.
true. but-
It's so crazy watching a movie that was made only 4 years. It was, released only 4 years ago, and feeling like it's a completely fucking different world.
Right.
I thought that
Like
was
it's
beautiful.
a completely different time period,
Yeah.
and that wasn't intentional.
Going back to like just those three side characters, something this film does a lot that I really appreciate, and you can argue that maybe it's a little bit egregious how much they do it, but they don't mind stopping and just introducing a random ass character that you'll never see again.
Often would just be incidental characters, but in like an almost Tarantino way, they find a way to tie them in. Yeah.
No, Matt, did you feel like that was part of the lull that you were experiencing? Because I did feel that it was slow in those parts, but I forgive because I love that kind of stuff. What part kind of felt slow to you?
Sort of like the casino scene up until like the next robbery.
Yeah, I did not. I totally agree with you. I did not follow along the casino scene. I was just like, okay, moving on. Come on.
The casino scene, he had that interaction with the Comanche guy, right? And
I love that scene.
Right, but it's just like he's like, oh, I'm an enemy of everyone. It's just like you've kind of already established you're an enemy of everyone. Like, why are we rehashing this in the middle for some reason?
I definitely like it. And go ahead, Mike.
As much as you say that, though, my biggest gripe with it, kind of like I was saying earlier, is as much as I agree with, it probably does get sweeter with age. I don't want to rewatch this movie that many times. I watched it once, and I got it. I don't need it again. It's not too enticing.
I definitely agree with that. It's not something where I'm like, when I rewatch this, I'm gonna like it even more. I'm like, yep, that was good. I will say it's not a movie that I think I'm gonna like forget. It's gonna be in the conversation of best modern westerns for a while. But that said, I mean, I guess it's the best western I've seen this year.
I felt like this movie was simultaneously in 2002, 1990, and 2016.
And like 1951.
I mean, it was outside was the cars passing by and the stuff they were doing modern enough. Like it was just like the little hints of stuff, like the dude vaping in like the first scene when you meet Alejandro. Yeah, he's like vaping.
Alberto, but yeah.
Alberto. He's vaping in the first scene that we see him. That was like, oh, because before that point I was just like, is this 2000, 1990? Like, what time setting is this? And that's like, okay, it's modern day. And then for me personally, I don't watch that many movies, so I haven't seen like a good modern day cowboy film. Like every cowboy film always involves like horsebacks and guns and stuff, but this was like a good modern day, like it could have happened actually sort of story for me. And then I like the ending scenes a lot. Just haven't seen that many westerns, I guess. So 4.5 stars.
And the beginning of the title sequence where it says Hell or High Water, in like the top left corner, you see like the beginning of like the field fire. And then obviously they do the thing where after the music and the beginning of the intro, it's a little bit closer. But in the middle of the film, when Jeff Bridges and Alberto are driving through their truck.
21st century, I'm racing a fire to the river with a herd of cattle. And I wonder why my kids won't do this shit for a living. Move 'em! Get out!
And going with Chris Pine going through all this hassle to give some money to their kids so they don't have to work another day in their life. There's some connection there. I wasn't able to decipher enough to kind of put in a little bow, but that's definitely intentional. And again, those small details I really appreciate enough. And the whole comedy, for me, filmmaking, giving it a 5.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like we're pretty good on that. And I think since next week, Mike, it's your mandate, do you want to introduce what we're going to be watching next?
Next week we're going to be watching one of my favorite films of all time. I believe it was the 2009 classic. 2008. Oh, geez. In Bruges. Starring,
fucking Bruges.
And it's one of those movies that, like you were talking about earlier, Cody, we can go on about the details of that movie for days. And every time you watch that movie, you discover new tidbits. So for those of us that have seen it, hope we find something new. And for everybody who's never seen it before, I hope you can just absorb as much as possible. Yeah, there's a lot to absorb. It's a fucking fun ride.
Thank you guys for being here. Cody, Mike, Matt, we're looking good.
Thank you for
B-side
putting this together,
Avengers, put it in
man.
my
This is
heart.
a lot of fun.
A squad over here.
Yes, and thank you, Gerardo, for stepping in on this side of the camera this week and joining us over here for some of the fun.
You're welcome, man. I appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys real soon.